Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Grant, producer Cullen Brown with us as always, and we're on to 2026. What a 2025 it was. It started with a walk-off win at Lambeau Field to snap a 10-game winning streak. We saw Ben Johnson get hired, and now the Bears are NFC North champs with one game left before the playoffs kick off. Pretty awesome year. Can't thank you guys enough for being here every step of the way, and let's make 2026 the best year yet. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And Cullen, the reason we're live about an hour later than normal is because Cullen and I will also be live on 4 Verts after this for Georgia Ole Miss, so we are getting ready for that, and this stream will kind of lead you guys into that one, so hopefully you guys will join us for that. YouTube has a cool feature where as soon as we sign off on this, it'll redirect you to the 4Vert stream, that chat, where we'll start shortly. So if you want to hang out with us for that, we would appreciate it. Should be a fun game tonight. But Colin, Happy New Year. We made it. Another year on this planet. Another second on this planet.
Another second, another day, another just, awesome day just to be alive. And shout out to everybody joining us here on this brand new 2026 version of Bears Now. I mean, the first edition. And look, you mentioned it. You rolled it down. 2025, very kind to the Chicago Bears. Obviously, snapping the streak at Lambeau Field to kick things off. You obviously, hire a new head coach. The Bears won the NFC North. They've won a few games. I mean, it's looking, pretty good for Bears fans here in 2025.
Vibes are high. It's definitely a good time right now. One more game against the Lions, and then it's go time. We'll see if this team's got a playoff run in them. But thanks to everyone for being here. That's why we're a little later than normal, but that was kind of planned. It's not because we're an hour behind schedule. Mr. Papa in Denver. We got Elijah in Chicago, Alexander in Montgomery, Illinois. Let's see, Richmond, Virginia from Devon. Let's see, Valparaiso from Kevin, Champaign, Illinois from Quinn. Big win for the Illini, beating Tennessee the other day. Will Luther play Sunday? He was a full participant. We'll break down the injury news for both the Bears and the Lions in our first segment, so stick with us here as we roll along on New Year's Day. Speaking of Bears-Lions, final game of the year. Get those score predictions in. Let us know who you guys think wins and what the final score is going to be at Soldier Field on Sunday. I am not going to drop a prediction until I do my preview episode, which we're not doing today. I'll probably do that one from my house, so stay tuned, but it will be up on the channel. But if you guys have a score prediction in, feel free to drop it in the live chat. Like Albert saying Bears 34-17. Penei Sewell DNP again today, so he may not play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll wait and see. We got some Bears injury news that we'll be discussing in our first segment. Some good, some bad, some to be expected. But listen, I think that the Bears, given what happened in week 2 and all the momentum now that has swung, in favor of Chicago, Detroit also not necessarily playing for everything, I would expect this one to potentially go in the Bears' favor. But again, it's any given Sunday, so we'll see.
I don't think they'll lose by 31. I still think Detroit's a good team that just hasn't gone their way this year. Their offense is still very potent, but yeah, I mean they've had a lot of injuries and they just haven't been quite the same. And to your point, how motivated will they be in this game? Dan Campbell even said if there's if there's long-term injury risk for guys, they would probably keep those type of players out. If I'm the Lions and Penei Sewell has an ankle injury, I'm not playing him. That would be kind of insane to do so. Now, sounds like Amon-Ra St. Brown wants to play and will probably be out there. But, yeah, I think in general, high-paid players who are banged up, you would think they would hold them out. But we'll see how it goes. Ryan says Bears 27-14. I'm more intrigued with curious to see how the Bears defense plays, Cullen, how they bounce back after that game in San Francisco. Dennis Allen had some comments earlier today that I want to get into because, I think the offense will have a good game probably. Maybe not quite as potent as it was in San Francisco, but I'm not too concerned with the offense right now. The defense needs to, again, it's not going to be elite, but get back to playing better than it has for the most part over the last month or so.
100%. And excuse me. No, listen, I still think that this is a game where, to your point, I mean, Detroit's still a really good football team that just, some things didn't go their way. They're still really talented. We'll see what they look like in 2026. But to be honest, if you're the Bears, this is kind of like your almost get right-ish game. Like coming off that obviously high, thrilling, just Sunday Night Football game against the 49ers. This is kind of like, all right, a little reset here. Again, it's NFC North matchup, so you want to take this seriously, but and also locking down the potential number 2 seed. I just think for the Bears too, like this is our chance to kind of like, okay, let's gather up. The offense looked like they were firing on all cylinders, but the defense especially, let's kind of get right. Let's, this is still a really good offense to Detroit. Dennis Allen, we'll talk about his comments that he made to the Chicago media members today. I think this is a get-right game in terms of the Chicago's defense for Dennis Allen.
Defense has been much better at home, too, so hopefully that'll help. It's not going to be brutal conditions, but, it'll be tougher than San Francisco was last week in terms of weather. So we'll see if that's in the Bears' favor or not. Austin with the super chat. New year, Bears are good. It feels weird, but grateful. Yeah, I mean, this time last year we were getting ready for Bears-Packers at Lambeau Field with 10 straight losses. It's a much better feeling this time around. So even though the Bears won that game, which I do think matters. I think it mattered at the time, and I do think it, how much did it carry into 26? It's hard to say, but just you didn't want to come into this year losing 11 straight, especially considering you lost the first 2 this year. So, it's things could change quickly, and things aren't changing for Indiana. All they do is win. They are crushing Alabama, Cullen, 23-0 with the extra point pending over the Tide. Elijah Surratt, potential first-round pick on the fade route from Fernando Mendoza with the tutty at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, future Raiders legend, Fernando Mendoza. Listen, Indiana will be live on 4 verts later for the other college football playoff, or the final college football playoff from today's game, but you nailed it. I mean, this Rose Bowl game has been one-sided. Indiana's had control from the get-go, and Kalen DeBoer and the boys just doesn't seem like they showed up today.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Indiana by 2 scores. I don't think I was, which I thought was not bold, but I was like, okay, like for big spot for Indiana. Might have undersold just how good they are, and I've been an Indiana guy all year, so they look pretty dominant today, to say the least. TJ, Texas Tech flopped. Alabama can't score. Yeah, this has been. The game last night was good-ish, but even that one ended up being 2 scores. So, yeah, you're talking about 3 games that looking like multiple score victories. Hopefully, Georgia Ole Miss delivers tonight. I would think that game would be better than what we've gotten, but who knows? Who knows? The Mr. Big Fella, what's your honest prediction for the rest of the season? I'm with Cullen. I think this will be a good get right game for the defense. I think they'll play better. Again, not dominant, but better. I think the Bears will win Sunday. I don't know. I like the Bears' chances against the Packers at home. So I do think I would pick them to win that game. Beyond that, I got to see the matchup, right? Like it's hard to predict from beyond that because I don't know who they'll play. So we'll have to wait and see. But I will say this, Cullen, the 2 seed could end up being the sweet spot because if you're the 2, and let's assume this means the Rams are the 6. Well, if the Rams upset the Eagles, they would play the 1 seed. The Rams would.
Yes.
Not the 2 seed.
Right.
And so, if the Eagles win, you get the Eagles at home. Okay, I'm comfortable with that. If the Rams win, they go face the winner of Seattle, San Francisco, whereas the Bears would face the loser or the winner of NFC South versus
number 5 seed.
The 5 seed, 49ers or Seahawks. And if you're in the camp of wanting to avoid the Rams, that's kind of lined up nicely. Now, the Rams could still be the 5 seed, so it depends. But Not saying any path is going to be easy, but if the Rams are the 6th seed, that's probably the best you can hope for, I would say.
Yeah.
You get Seattle or San Francisco or Carolina or Tampa in the second round. I'd rather have that than the Rams, I think. I just think the Rams, I still think they're the most complete team. Now, they're not trending that great right now, but do we have a Devontae Adams update, by the way?
I haven't seen anything this week. Or I don't think he's actually scheduled to play this week.
No reason to play him this week.
Yeah. But I would expect him to be back whenever postseason time rolls around. They're just obviously he's a guy that he's been there, done that before, so not necessarily needed for this Week 18 game, especially with.
I also think Stafford's missed him. I mean,
yeah,
so.
him and Devontae really gained a kind of cohesion, like chemistry, middle of the season whenever Puka went initially down there for those 4 or so games. And he honestly became Stafford's favorite red zone target.
Yeah, and I also think that him and Devontae and Puka complement each other well because Puka's really good against zone, not as good winning one-on-one in man. Adams can still win consistently in man, and you can just throw back shoulders to him. So even if he's not separating, you can just throw those back shoulders, which Stafford's obviously really good at. Jay Worth, appreciate everything you do, Harrison and Colin, if I spelled that right. Bear down, baby, FGB. Spelling all good there, Jay Worth, and appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in. Andres, to Harry's point of the defense playing better at home, they allow 17 points per game at home, 30 on the road. All the more reason the 2C is important. Yeah, I mean, their best defensive performance on the road in a notable game is the Philly game, which was a very good performance. They were good. They were very good. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the defense, but the Eagles' offense isn't great, and at the time, it hadn't been playing great. So, yeah, I just think you want to be at home. You always want to be at home, and the defense has seemingly played notably better at home. So, and I also just think like the Niners, for example, if you got them at home, it's going to be tough. But in colder, windier conditions in your building where you have the crowd, I don't think you're giving up 42 to San Francisco. You might give up 30, but I don't think you're giving up 42. So hopefully they can get the 2 seed and let the chips fall where they may. Jay Worth, I'm just glad Oklahoma lost. Go Pokes, Oak State fan in the chat. Love it, Jay Worth. Media, how about those Hoosiers? We got any Indiana fans in the chat? Maybe Colin and I will do the Indiana game in the next round. The way the schedule fell, we could really only do this night game, Georgia Ole Miss, but we might do the Indiana game. We'll see. It'll depend on the NFL playoff schedule too.
We got Jesse.
We're actually in the playoffs, guys. It's hard to that by this time next week, I'm either talking about a coaching search or mock drafts.
Yeah.
But not this year.
No. We'll change for the better for old Harry. And we got Boomer Sooner. We got Roll Tie Roll. Got some Indiana fans.
Good mixture.
Go Illini. Let us know down below in the chat who you're rooting for in this college football playoff. But I think we're about ready to get into the content.
Yeah, let's do it. We got a lot to get to. And if you're just joining us, speaking of the college football playoff, Colin and I will be live for Georgia Ole Miss on 4 Verts, my other YouTube channel where we do NFL and college football content. When we sign off on this stream, it'll redirect you to that stream. And we'll go live shortly after signing off on this stream. So stay with us here on New Year's Day. Something just happened?
No, it's just a little interesting nugget from Pelissero/Schefter. Dolphins brought in Troy Aikman as consultant for their GM search. Interesting.
Why not just hire Aikman? Probably because he makes way more money at ESPN. He's probably making, $20 million a year at ESPN? 15 at least?
He's making a good amount.
Yeah, NFL GMs don't make that much. I mean, they make a lot of money, but outside of a couple, they're more like $5 million a year. Okay, which I'm like, only $5 million? Pocket change. Okay, today's injury news updates, Coordinator Thursday. We'll talk about all that coming up here in a second. We'll take your questions. #Bears Super Chat. Fire in the chat. Whatever questions you got, we're here to answer them on Chicago Bears Now. And got to talk about this rookie class. I mean, as the season has gone on, they have gotten major contributions from 4 guys in particular. But gotta dive in and let's see what happens. Did Ty Simpson get benched or is he injured? Because he is not in the game.
He's not in the game. I didn't see what happened, but there is a new quarterback in for the Crimson Tide.
From number 1 overall pick to benched in the playoffs?
Jesse said
Someone
he's
in the
hurt.
chat says he's hurt. Okay. All right. I didn't see that. I was going to say that would be quite the move by Kalen DeBoer to bench him there. All right. A lot to get to here on the show. Don't forget to get those questions in. We'll answer them in about 10 or 15 minutes. Here we go. I'm Harrison Graham. It was Coordinator Thursday at Hallis Hall, so I react to something Dennis Allen, Declan Doyle, and Richard Hightower said today. We'll also dive into the latest Bears and Lions injury news as we gear up for the regular season finale here on Sunday. This is Chicago Bears Now. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you guys so much for the support here on this YouTube channel. I went back and did the analytical work, and 36,217 of you subscribed to Bears Now in 2025. So if you're one of those, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Shout out to the longtime subscribers who have been here since late 2019, early 2020. And if you haven't subbed and want to join the 148,000 strong, hit that subscribe button. We're here with free content every single day. Happy New Year, everybody. All right, Dennis Allen, self-critical of the Bears' defensive performance in San Francisco, in which they gave up 42 points to the 49ers. Here's what DA had to say when asked about that showing. He said, "I'll say this, I don't think I coached well enough last week. I don't think we played well enough last week. So you learn your lessons, you make the corrections that you need to make. Now we move forward, and we're getting ready for Detroit." And that's really what I'm focused on. Look, Detroit's out of the playoffs. They might be out a couple of guys, but statistically, they're still a very good offense. They clearly missed Ben Johnson, but Jared Goff's still having a big year. They still have a pretty good offensive line, not as good as last year. And they can still run the ball with Gibbs and St. Brown receiving. They still have really good players, and they can move the ball. How do you bounce back? You're back home. You're playing a team that dropped 50 on you in week 2. You just gave up 42 last week. I want to see how this defense bounces back. And a troubling trend down the stretch of the season has been the inability to get off the field on third down. Because early in the year, the first really half, 2/3 of the season, in like total yards and stuff like that, the Bears defense wasn't great, but they were elite at taking the football away, which they still are, and they were really good on getting off the field on third down. Well, they have slipped third down defense. In their 3 recent big games, the 2 games against the Packers and last week against the 49ers, 8 for 12 third downs allowed the first Packers game, 6 for 12 the second Packers game, 7 of 10 last week. You're just not going to win if you're giving up 60+% consistently on third down. You have to get off the field on third down, especially third and long. It felt like last week you had 3 or 4 chances, 3rd and 6+, to get off the field, and the Bears just couldn't do it. And, I don't expect this defense to be great. They don't have a good enough pass rush to be great. But the linebackers can play better. The secondary can play better based on the personnel they have. And you just got to make the timely plays. If you can continue to take the ball away a couple times a game and make those timely stops, this offense is good enough to win games. But you're not going to score 42 on the road, man. It's you were 2 yards away, but that's a pretty big ask for this football team. So those are some things I'm keeping an eye on starting this week and on into the postseason. Can you be better on third down and make those key stops? How confident are you in the Bears defense right now? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being very confident, 1 being not at all. I'm at about a 3.5. I'm not completely dead in terms of confidence. I do think Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator, even though it's been a bit of a rough go recently. But I'd be lying if I said I was just filled up with confidence right now in that unit. Okay, Declan Doyle speaking to the media as well, and he was asked about Caleb Williams using his cadence as a weapon and pointing to that Colston Loveland touchdown, that free play last week as an example. And he said, yeah, you've seen that a lot. You see a guy who's in more command as far as when he's up there utilizing the cadence to an advantage. We talked about that a lot when we first got here, just our cadence being something that we wanted to kind of hang our hat on, and it helps you in a lot of different ways. And again, and I've pointed this out at times throughout the season, from last year, but even this year, week one, first few weeks of the season to now, the pre-snap operation is on point. Caleb Williams with the mental part of the game and just learning this offense and using the cadence as a weapon and the ability to change the plays at the line of scrimmage, canning to second plays. You can tell he's just in command. He's under control. And it takes, if people forget, it takes a while to learn a new offense. So throughout training camp, when I was hearing, yeah, there's a lot of pre-snap penalties, I wasn't that surprised. We were told this is a complex offense. I didn't expect them by, mid-August or even week one to have it down. Now, was it a little sloppier than we probably hoped the first few weeks? Yeah, it was pretty rough. They couldn't get the plays off half the time, it felt like. But now they've gone from that to they're getting free plays seemingly every other week. And last week we saw that missile to Colston Loveland to not only get the guy to jump off sides, but to freelance and to throw a strike to the end zone to get a touchdown out of it as well. So I'm pretty pleased with where Caleb has grown in that part of his game. Everybody's like, how much has he grown? And you just point to stats. It's like, well, there's a lot that goes into playing quarterback, and a lot of it is before you even snap the football. Okay, Richard Hightower kind of talking about, playing at Soldier Field, using the elements to your advantage. He said, we hope to make it a advantage for us. It's not an advantage if we don't make it an advantage. We do have a familiarity with it. So he's basically saying, look, yeah, the elements are going to be there, but we have to utilize those to our advantage. It's not just going to happen on its own. And I think you've seen examples of them utilizing that to their advantage. Like Cairo Santos was really comfortable kicking in those tough conditions at at Soldier Field a couple weeks ago. Made some huge kicks. They've been creative with their type of kickoffs that they've done with those short landing zone kicks, and they've obviously gotten a lot better at kickoff coverage. I think Richard Hightower's done a really nice job the second half of this season to improve this unit. They're not giving up a lot of explosive returns. Cairo's obviously kicking the ball really well right now. I think Torrey Taylor's had his best stretch of his 2-year career. And even the return game has popped a little bit more the last month or so. So I'm pretty pleased with how that unit's come along because it was probably the weak part of the team the first 6 weeks or so. And since then, it's been a strength of this football team. Now, I also just think in general the Bears are built for bear weather. We've talked about that. Say what you want about Cairo Santos, but he's kicked and made some big kicks in tough conditions. Lambeau last year, the Packers game at home this year, he's been able to do that. Offensively, they're built for tough weather with Caleb Williams and his physical traits that translate through cold and potentially wet conditions. They can run the football, strong offensive line. So I think they're built for conditions, and that's why I've said I think especially if you're going up against potent offenses, bring on the worst weather possible as a bit of an equalizer for the defense because I still think this offense can move the ball and put points up on the board even in tough weather conditions. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine, it is a new year after all, or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. New feature alert, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. The way you play Prize Picks is simple. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player lineups, and if you hit, you win money. I got a 3-pick power play, which means you got to hit them all to cash out. Caleb Williams took more on his passing yards. Can we get that 4,000? That'd be awesome. Jared Goff got more on his as well. And then I like Kyle Monungai to score a touchdown, rushing or receiving. A little demon play. $20 to win $80 on this 3-player lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. All right, we'll get to the Lions injury news in a minute, but let's start with the Bears injury news as they have released their Thursday injury report. 3 players did not practice today. Rome Odunze with that foot, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka with that concussion. Don't think he'll clear this week. Jonah Jackson added today with an illness. It's Thursday. You think he'd be good to go for Sunday. Maybe sits out tomorrow's practice and gets the fluids going, does a little workout Saturday, good to go Sunday. That would be my guess. The Bears seem optimistic that Rome Odunze will be able to return for the playoffs. Ben Johnson said a couple of weeks ago that he's going to be able to help us this year. So I think the hope and the plan is to ramp him up for next week when they play likely the Packers, but potentially the Rams or 49ers in the first round of the playoffs. Tryon-Shoyinka, he won't clear this week, but he should be back next week as well. And like I said, Jonah Jackson illness, he should be okay as well. Okay, limited participants. Ozzy Trapilo has got that knee and quad issue. Not overly concerned there, but he has been limited 2 days in a row with those injuries. And then Nick McLeod still working his way back from that illness. He missed last week, and 5 days later, still listed with that illness, not a full participant. So he must have gotten hit pretty hard with whatever illness is going around. Now, and in some even better news, Luther Burden III, full participant today. You'll love to see that. Ben Johnson said yesterday they were hopeful he could play this week. Yesterday was a walkthrough practice. Today, a full practice. So I'm pretty optimistic that he's going to play in this game on Sunday, which is a good sign for his status, obviously, for the postseason as well. And he's really come on, man. And you just think about the efficiency, right? 56 targets, only 12 of those have gone incomplete this year. Caleb and him seem to have a really nice rapport, over 600 yards, couple of touchdowns. He's been as advertised. It was the Bears kind of eased him along, and that's kind of been a theme with the rookies. But by the end of this year, him, Colston Loveland, you could argue those are the two most dynamic and trustworthy weapons currently. I think a healthy Rome Odunze is up there. DJ, you can obviously trust, but you guys know what I mean. Like, they've really come along, and they've really become big pieces of this offense, which is kind of what you were hoping for. Hey, by the end of this year and heading into next year, these are focal points of your offense, and we're seeing that happen in real time. These 3 players were full. We mentioned Luther, also Olamide Zaccheaus, who missed Sunday's game with an illness. He's practiced in full the last 2 days, so he should be good to go. And Josh Blackwell, dealing with the shoulder injury. He was limited yesterday, full today. So the special teams ace seems to be on track to play too. Okay, Lions injury news. We'll catch you guys up on some of their players' situations, and then we will call it a segment here. Penei Sewell did not practice again, dealing with that ankle injury. Dan Campbell said earlier this week, if there's risk for further injury, especially for key guys, they'll be cautious. I'm not saying it because I don't want to face Penei Sewell, although obviously you never want to face Penei Sewell, but we don't cheer for injuries. But if I'm running the Lions, I'm not playing my $30 million right tackle. So we'll see if that changes. I would guess he doesn't play, though. Backup O-lineman Tristan Colon dealing with the wrist injury did not practice, and defensive tackle Aleem McNeil dealing with the abdomen injury was not out there either. Obviously, if him and Sewell are out, that's a big deal. Those are 2 of their better trenches players, one on offense, one on defense. So if the Bears don't play those guys, that obviously is advantage Chicago. But again, from Detroit's standpoint, you would think they would be cautious. Amon-Ra St. Brown does want to play. He's made that clear. So is Dan Campbell. He was a DNP yesterday, limited today. So I'm guessing he's going to give it a go. Taylor Decker, limited as well. But the expectation is he'll probably be out there. A couple of offensive linemen dealing with an illness. And then Giovanni Manu has a knee injury. He was also limited. And then so was Alex Anzalone and Thomas Harper. They're both in the concussion protocol. I can't remember about Harper, but Anzalone was a DNP yesterday. So if he's limited now, outside shot, he progresses enough, clears the protocol, and plays on Sunday. He's obviously one of their better defensive players. Avonte Maddox was full today after being limited yesterday, dealing with the back. He was also hit with the whatever illness that's been going around. So he was a full participant today, should be out there on Sunday. All right, there you have it. Bears, Lions, predict the score. Let us know who you have winning and what the final score is going to be down in the comment section below. Final game of the regular season before the playoffs begin for your Chicago Bears. My name is Harrison Graham. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Happy New Year. Let's make this the best year yet for the Chicago Bears and for Chicago Bears. Now, hit that subscribe button to support. and we'll see you soon. All right, mailbag time coming up. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Little Rose Bowl update. Bama did get on the board, so it's 24-3 Indiana, final 90 seconds of the third quarter. Indiana's got 3rd and 8, so Bama really needs this 3 and out. Mendoza throws left side, first down. Broke a tackle, makes another guy miss. Pass midfield, still going out of bounds at the Bama 45. That was kind of their chance. You get points. If you could get a stop and score, cut it to 14, you never know. But when you're down 3 scores, your margin of error is very, very slim.
There's a couple super chats we'll go ahead and answer before we get into this mailbag session, but use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get on this upcoming mailbag that we'll start here in a second. TJ, do you think bowl season is dying? I only watch the college football playoff.
Yes. Don't get me wrong, there's still some good bowls, but half these games there's no one in the crowd. Now there's certain ones like like the Citrus Bowl, that Texas, Michigan, even if they're both a little down, like that's a good game. TCU USC, I thought that was fun. Obviously my team was in it, but USC is a brand. Like that was a fun game. Went to overtime. But half of these, it's like you don't even know what the sponsor. You never even heard of the sponsor before. It's like, what are we doing? But even I'd be curious to get your perspective on this, Colin. Obviously, you wanted UNT to be in the CFP, and rightfully so. They came a game away. But when I was watching North Texas, Fresno State, the first thing I thought of was, wouldn't this be better if this is like a semifinal in a G5 playoff at UNT's campus than at the New Mexico Bowl? Like, of course you want to be in the big playoff, but like I'd rather that than the New Mexico Bowl. Like,
yeah, to me, like I would love it if I think ideal scenario, because again, as somebody roots for a Group of 6 conference team, you clearly want the best in the college football playoff. I still think one team should deservedly get in from the Group of 6.
Yeah,
however,
I'm still fine with one as well. For
what if you just took it where, okay, the highest ranked Group of 6 team, whomever that may be, gets into the college football playoff. They just have the 12 seed. They're in the
16,
dance.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. And then the rest of it, you still have the regular college football playoff, but then you also have kind of like the football's version of an NIT or a lower level kind of playoff for the Group of 6. I think that would be very entertaining versus like, hey, congratulations, you get to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. And
that, or even like if you want to do
else.
like a mixture of like, P5, if you want to do like 8 G5 and 8 P5 teams in a 16-team bracket, and it's like a bunch of like 7, 8 win P5 teams, and then like the best G6 teams, and then 8 of each, 4 rounds. Like I'm more inclined to tune into that than
a random bowl game.
The New Mexico Bowl.
Yep.
Like,
agreed.
Like if you gave me, I don't know, I'll just throw a random matchup. I'd rather watch Louisville, San Diego State at San Diego State in the quarterfinals than in the Gasparilla Bad Boy Mowers Bowl or whatever.
Yeah,
it
whatever
is.
it's called. Yeah.
Put them on campus. If you want to put like the championship game at some like bowl game or something, like sure. But like I think that's what they need to do. They'll probably expand the main playoff to 16. If you want one G5 in there, that's cool. And then if you want to do a secondary 16-team playoff, and you just put those games in the middle of the week, instead of these playoff games being freaking Wednesday and Thursday for the CFP, have those be Friday, Saturday, have these other games fill inventory on Tuesday and Wednesday. You basically have football every night, and it's like more intriguing football than what we currently have.
And not as many bye weeks as we have during the college football playoff, which is just like, it doesn't make any sense.
How about this? Someone in the chat, Pop-Tart Bowl, mentioned the second tournament championship game is the Pop-Tart Bowl. Who says no?
Who says no?
Who says no? I'm in.
I'm in. Big Dumper, did you see the Bears social media team post Rome cooking digs? Ultimate trolls.
I don't know if I saw that, but it is kind of funny that the only team to put in a claim for Diggs is Micah Parsons' old teammate team, the Packers.
FGB.
So, that is interesting. I did not see that. I'll have to go find it.
Yeah, but make sure you guys get in your hashtag Bears or Super Chat questions to get on this mailbag that we've got here coming up for you guys. Could be anything. Could be keys to victory against the Detroit Lions. It could be hypothetical playoff scenarios. Any question that you think my guy Harry would have an answer to, feel free to fire it down below in the chat.
Let's go. Let's go. By the way, a little college football transfer portal update. So technically it opens at 12:01 tonight. Miami, Texas Tech, and LSU apparently are all in on Brendan Sorsby.
Ooh.
And Barry Jackson, you know him, he covers Roley's guy.
Yeah.
He's on this as well. He's the one who reported that. He said that the Canes will start portal shopping at midnight tonight.
Interesting.
Touchdown Indiana. This is a blowout.
This one's over, folks.
Indiana's legit, man. This is awesome. I mean, if Indiana wins it all, Cignetti straight to the College Football Hall of Fame. Indiana? Are you kidding me?
Be sick.
It's awesome. That is awesome.
Let's get a couple more questions in there. We can get this mailbag started. Yeah, it's ball game. 30 piecing.
I had 31-16. It's 31-3, and we still got a quarter left. So,
yeah.
By the way, I can't remember who tweeted this, that Kurt Cignetti continues to bury excuse makers, because you know how it's been like the take this week has been like, well, all these teams with the bye, they're just not ready. Too much time off. Well, Hoosiers dominating after 3 weeks off. Also is, you can't turn around a lesser program overnight. Well, this guy did it.
Yep.
So this guy's a special coach, man. Special coach. Coaching matters, Ben Johnson. All right, hashtag Bears Super Chat. We'll get to your questions here, and then we'll hop into one more segment. But stick with us, and let's keep this rolling here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. It is time for a Chicago Bears Now mailbag. We'll start with Adam Downing with the Super Chat. Appreciate the 5. Will Dennis Allen have his way in the draft? What are the best 3 positions to draft rounds 1 and 3? I mean, coaches give input on guys, but in the end, it's the scouting department. It's Ryan Poles. I do think Ben Johnson has some juice, but with defensive guys, they'll get DA's input on guys throughout the process. Like, hey, what do you think of this pass rusher? Does he fit what you want to do? Stuff like that. But it's not like he's going to be handpicking these players. But clearly, you got to go defense. I would say, I will say this: the more I read and the more you hear from draft experts, it should be a good edge draft. So that's good for the Bears. I would say edge. Maybe another defensive lineman, whether that's another edge or a defensive tackle, and then, maybe a safety. I'd say that would probably be the 3, ideally, if you're just talking about positions. But, BPA always has to factor in. How does the draft fall? Those are all things that come into play. Soldier Bear 85, are we locked in a win-now mode with the cap? Well, the Bears actually have more flexibility than you think, because next year – they only have like $1 million, $2 million right now in projected cap space, but they have like $60 million the next year with guys like Dio and Grady Jarrett and able to be cut. Tremaine Edmonds is off your books at that point. If you don't keep him beyond next year, they may not even keep him next year. Who knows? So what that means is they could restructure some money to free up more this offseason because they have extra money available for 2 years from now. So I think they're more flexible than you think, but when you become win now, when you win, right? And you have young ascending talent, which is what the Bears have. So I would say they're in win now mode for that reason, not necessarily because of their cap situation. All right, predict the score. Bears-Lions. It's the regular season finale at Soldier Field. Bears 6-1 at home this year, 5-4 on the road, which, that's kind of how you draw it up, right? The goal is 500 or better on the road, take care of home field, and you're a playoff team. Bears have done that. Hopefully they can finish 7-1 at home. But if you have a score prediction, let us know what it is. Alex Ammerling, my short list of guys I'd like to look at. Uyunglele, he had a good game earlier. He popped a lot. A lot of good D linemen in that game. David Bailey was awesome. Amari Washington, T.J. Parker, Kristen Miller, and Caden McDonald. Yeah, I'm excited to watch Kristen Miller tonight. Or if you're watching this live on Thursday, Georgia game Thursday night, obviously. But yeah, I think those are all guys that the Bears will be scouting pretty hard. Okay, Matt Leahy, what would it take for this team to make it to the Super Bowl this year? It would take 3 wins in the playoffs. Kidding. That's my sarcastic response. Literally, you have to win 3 times, then you get to the Super Bowl. But I think the defense has to play better. If the defense can be average and the offense can be excellent, I think that you have a chance. And the reason I think that is I don't think there's a dominant team. I think every team's flawed. I think the Bears have flaws, but I think all teams have flaws. If Caleb's playing well and they're able to run the ball and the defense can just be average and make timely plays with the takeaways and third down stops, I think they got a shot. If they can't get off the field on third down, if the takeaways start to disappear, it's going to be tough because, you know, if you're consistently in shootouts, that's a tough spot to be. Regardless, this year's been a hell of a season for the Bears. They are NFC North champs, and we got gear for you. Chatsports.com/Bears North. We got the T-shirts in 2 styles, the navy, the orange. We also got the hoodies, which you could argue is the cleanest look as well. All under the same umbrella at that link. You can click and choose which item, what size you want, all that stuff. Chatsports.com/Bears North. Get your Bears Took the North gear today and support the program. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, Renero Roberts, do you think Ben Johnson lets Caleb get 270, or do you think they try to establish the run? Well, Ben said that it's I can't remember which adjective he used, but it's a secondary goal. If it happens, great. Yeah, he said tertiary, so there you go. It's not even a secondary goal. So I think they're all on the same page. They want to win. They want the 2 seed. They will do what it takes to get the 2 seed. If throwing the ball a lot and having success doing so leads to that, and you happen to hit 4,000, great, but I don't think they're necessarily going to hunt it. They're going to call the game how they need to win this football game. And look, if you get to the 4th quarter and you're 50 yards away or something with 5-6 minutes left and the game is under control, then yeah, you could try to chase it a little. Almost like, remember last year with the Bucs and Mike Evans, he was like 10 yards away with like a minute left and the game was in hand, and so they threw him like a quick slant and he got it or whatever. Like, if an opportunity like that presents itself and the game's under control, then yeah, go chase the 4,000. But you call the game how you need to not only win this game, but, you know, to keep your rhythm going into the postseason. Do I'm sure that's incorrect somehow, but I tried. What needs to change in coverage before Lions and in the offseason? What do you mean in coverage? Like in the secondary? I think they just have to play better, right? Like Nashawn Wright has played better than he did the other night. He's going to have to play better. I didn't think Kevin Byard had his best game. I do think Jalen is getting better each week, but clearly they've been slow playing him. So, you know, do you get Tyreek Stevenson on the field more for Nashawn Wright? Do you call different looks? Do you play a little bit more man coverage? Feels like they've been more zone heavy recently. So, I don't know. Those are all questions you got to figure out, but got to tighten it up. It just, when you don't have a good pass rush and guys are streaking wide open, it's a tough combination. And I know it's hard to cover for that long, but it's not like Purdy consistently was holding the ball for 7 seconds. There were some quick hitters that were just too open. So, got to tighten the coverage up. All right, if you want free and daily Bears content every single day, all year long, 24/7, 365, we're dropping content. Subscribe today. It's a new year. Let's set records that we've never matched here on Bears Now. Let's do it. All right, in peril, Bears have 3rd best TD drive percentage against current playoff teams behind the Rams and Pats. That's a good stat. I'd love to face Seattle in the 2nd round. Cullen would be a mess. Yeah, I mean, we're glad that Bears-Seahawks is dead for the 1st round, but we absolutely want it at some point because the stream would be hectic. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind 2nd round or NFC Championship game. We'll see if it happens. Be fun. Ryan Hamlin, 1st, 3rd DJ for Crosby or 1st, 2nd Dio for Crosby? I mean, I'd rather do the Dio one, but I mean, are they taking Dio over DJ to move up one round? I mean, I guess they might, but he tore his Achilles, so I doubt it. If I'm choosing, I'll do the Dio one, but I think that first one is probably more of a possibility because the Raiders could benefit from a proven weapon in this league, assuming they draft a Mendoza or a Dante Moore. Plus, they get good draft capital on top of it. So, yeah, I could see that. Those will still be ongoing discussions. We'll talk about it on the show, so stay tuned. Who is your ideal first-round opponent? We're down to 3. If the Bears get the 2 seed, they will face the Packers. If that's who you want to face, type FGB. If they get the 3 seed, they will face the Rams or the 49ers, depending on what happens. If you want to face the Rams, type LAR. If you want to face the 49ers, type SF. FGB, LAR, SF. Who do you want? All right, Cody White and Joyer, how far would Bain have to fall for you to trade up and get him? By the way, Colin, ever since the draft community was he's going to slip, his arms are short, he's just dominated the last 2 games. Unblockable. So I don't know if that's going to be some kind of deal breaker for the Bears, but all I know is that dude is bendy as hell. He has an arsenal of pass rush moves. Sometimes just trust the tape and there will be certain plays where having shorter arms will cost him. But to me, it's kind of the Will Campbell conversation. It's if the guy's good, you'll deal with the occasional shortcomings of the frame of the player if he's just really good. So, I don't know, if the Bears are picking 25 and he's fallen to 15, I'd be pretty interested in trading up. But if this playoff run continues, I would imagine he's going to go top 10, especially in a draft that's not that loaded, if we're being completely honest, or at least that's how it seems. All right, last one here. DC Viper, who is your rookie MVP? For me, it's between Luther Burden and Colson Loveland. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think you could put 2 more guys in there. I think you could put Ozzy Trapilo in there for, he hadn't started the whole season, but for stepping in and just stabilizing that position at left tackle. And then Kyle Monungai has been a big part of this rushing attack. If you're watching live, we're actually going to do a full segment on the rookies, so stay tuned. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Loveland because he's also heavily involved in the run game. He's been blocking pretty well this year. And the tiebreaker between him and Burden is A, that, and B, he's got 5 touchdowns. Burden has 2. So I'd probably lean Loveland, but all 4 of those guys I mentioned deserve their flowers because they've been really, really good players, and the arrow is pointing straight up for all of them. All right, guys, really good questions. Appreciate it. And if you want to ask more, you know where to find me. Social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at HGramNFL. Publishing more content over there, and hope to see you over there. So please follow, and we'll see you soon. Bear down. All right, we got Ryan Field as Indiana's on the move again, Colin. I don't know how they got the ball back, but I think Cignetti is trying to drop the hammer.
Mendoza just had a beautiful throw on the run, rolling to his right down the sideline.
He throws with really good touch.
Really good touch. I think it's pretty good anticipation. He's just a guy that sits there and says, okay, you need me to execute your offense? I can do that.
He's played in multiple systems, which I like. 14 of 16, 192, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's kicking ass and taking names. That. Yeah. That's just an efficient, dominant performance. I also they have some good weapons. Surratt's a good player. Yep. Omar Cooper, who came back today, he's got 45 and a touch. They can run the ball. Oh, my God. The guy's just bowling into the end zone. Holy smokes.
Yeah, but to your point, the Ruben Bain conversation, as soon as I heard, oh, yeah, lack of short arms, it's dude, we had the same conversation about Will Campbell. Now, look, there's a reason that they do all the measurables and they, test all the athletic tributes at the combine. There's certainly a purpose for them. That being said, if a player balls out on tape like Ruben Bain has, like Will Campbell did, sometimes you just have to trust your eyes on it and just realize, hey, yes, there's going to be limitations at some points. That being said, Ruben Bain's going to be a difference maker, at least in my opinion. So, yeah. Thought that was really well said.
I also think he'll have the versatility to kick inside because he's bulky enough, and
for sure,
you don't need 33-inch arms if you're playing inside. So, maybe he plays edge on base downs and on obvious pass rush downs, you kick him in. So I just think he's pretty freaky, dude. And I think he's going to be one of those players that he's going to use being a little bit not the tallest guy either. Like the leverage he's going to be able to play with is going to be unique. It's kind of like Kyle Monungai as a running back, or like these shorter, stocky running backs.
Yep.
They use that to their advantage. I think he's kind of the same way as a pass rusher. So I'm curious to see how he tests at the combine. All right, TJ, I think the lack of interest is all the opt-outs. I mean, that's certainly part of it, right? But let's be honest. When it went away from just a two teams play for the national championship, because, look, you still had all the BCS bowls. And then even in a four-player system, it's like, well, you have the New Year's 6 games. But, like, when there's a playoff, Cullen, with over 10 teams now, no one cares about these bowl games. And when I say no one, I don't literally mean zero people.
Right.
I just mean the number of people is way less than before because there's more teams in the tournament that have a chance to win a national championship. That's just math, right? Like you're just eyeballs head elsewhere. So it is what it is. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to love watching the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. It's kind of just a fun family tradition. Like you're with family, you're eating food, you're hanging out. Oh, the Hawaii Bowl's on. The Hawaii Bowl now, I just don't care.
I just couldn't be interested.
Could not care less.
Could not be interested.
Now, if Hawaii was in the group of 5 playoff playing at Hawaii on Christmas Eve, I'm in.
Right.
There's more stakes there. That's cool. But random teams playing in the Hawaii Bowl, and I think Hawaii was in the Hawaii Bowl this year, okay, but it's just doesn't hit the same.
No, it doesn't.
Look, with how quickly the world is constantly changing now with technology and just everything in life, you have to adapt. And with the playoff they have, it seems like they don't know what to do with the rest of this. So, like, what do we do with all this? Because the reason the bowl still exists is because they still do decent numbers on TV. It's TV inventory for ESPN.
Right.
You could still have that inventory if you make it a secondary playoff. So I think that's where they should go with it. When that happens, I don't know. It seems like it's going to take a few years. They got to clean up, like, the scheduling of everything first, like fixing the calendar. And, like, in an ideal world, the national championship is at or around New Year's Day every year. And to me, it should just be at the Rose Bowl.
Right.
That's the only bowl game that I really care. I mean, even like the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, like, yeah, they've been around forever. I watched the Orange Bowl this morning, Texas Tech and Oregon. Colin, it's half full.
Yeah.
It's half fucking full in a playoff game. Put these games on campus until the Rose Bowl for the national championship. Because you're forcing fans to travel way too much over a month of time. It's just too much.
No, I completely agree. Completely agree.
All right, Elijah, random, but I think Ben's situational play calling week 16 to 17 shows him learning from his mistakes, speaks to all his own self-criticism, adaptability. Yeah, I think the only call really that entire game I didn't love was the shovel pass on the drive where they ended up with a field goal. But even that one, it's not like it was a 3rd and a foot and you need a yard and you're trying to reinvent the wheel. They tried to catch them sleeping and they weren't sleeping. So, and you still had to play on 3rd down. So, I said it the night of the Packers game when they tried the ludicrous Komet's under center.
Yep.
He stands up, snap it. I can live with that play, just not in that spot.
Right.
So I'll live with the shovel pass not working on 2nd and goal from the 9. Hey, that's part of, like, Ben's going to be creative and try different stuff. Like, I thought personally that the hook and ladder was a great call. The guy made a great play, and Swift had to make a quick decision. He chose to cut it up, which left you with 1 play versus maybe 2. You know, sometimes those are going to work. And even that play still worked. You had 1 play from the 2-yard line. It's not like if you told – if Ben Johnson before the game sat the guys down and was like, hey, we're going to have 1 play from the 2.5-yard line to win this game on the road in San Francisco. Do we take it? I think they'd probably say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana almost just had a pick 6. So, yeah, I'm with you, Elijah. It's all about when you call those plays. It's not necessarily the plays themselves. If Ben Johnson's here for 10 years, he'll probably call 75 trick plays. 30 of them probably won't work. But if it's 2nd and 8 on 25 of those when they don't work, it's not going to be the end of the world. So, DC Viper, do you think the NCAA should fix the transfer portal system? Well, I just think it needs to happen after the season's over. And quite frankly, I think same thing with the coaching carousel. They should follow the NFL model, Colin, but you move it up a month.
Yes.
That way you're not competing with the NFL.
Yes.
It's the same thing, though. It's like, hey, when the season over, portal opens. Here's our free agency. Coaches can start going to other teams, all that stuff. To me, that's all fine.
Completely agree.
And it's doable, too. Just
Very
start
doable.
week 1 like mid-August. I would love college football to start in mid-August so I don't have to fake be excited for the final preseason game. Give me some college football.
No, I get you.
Let's do it.
Yep.
And then have this thing wrapped up by New Year's. Then it's week 18 in the NFL, and then it's college football off season overlapping with the NFL playoffs. I think that's good. You don't want the college football playoff to compete with the NFL playoffs. That's what you don't want.
No.
I don't think either sport should want that. So
I would agree.
Soldier Bear, when can you expect your first Bears mock draft? Well, I did one during the Bears bye week, and to be honest, I couldn't even tell you who I took. Did I take David Bailey? Let's see. I can look it up real quick.
I was going to say, I don't remember. I'm trying to, back in, you're saying May. You did take
No. During the bye week.
Oh, during the bye week.
I always do the way too early, but I don't count that as the first one necessarily. It's more of just an exercise.
Not May. It would have been July, by the way.
October 4th. Well, no, I do my way too early one right after the draft ends.
Okay, so in May. Okay, so
or April, whenever it was.
Whatever it was.
2 days after the draft, the week after, whatever it is. I did one in October. Oh, Keldrick Falk was my pick at number 11 overall. And now the Bears are, if the season ended today, they'd pick 29th. So shows how far they've come. The answer, Soldier Bear, is probably within a week of the Bears season ending. And hopefully that's not until February. So there. But we'll crank them up in the offseason. Don't you worry.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Don't you worry. Okay, who else we got? TJ, you and Josh Pate should talk ball. Great takes. I'm a big Josh Pate fan. What he's done, kind of getting it out of the mud, as the kids say. Yeah,
Out the mud.
I'm a big fan of his. So kudos to him. He's built a strong brand. I think he's right up there with anyone else giving takes on college football. So he's good. He's just a talented on-air guy as well. Like, I just enjoy listening to him. He's an easy listen, regardless of if I agree or disagree with the take. He's very polished, so he's really good at what he does. Really, really good.
Really good at what he does. We also got Elijah again. What's your hierarchy of teams you root for?
Bears and TCU athletics are like at the top at this point. I used to be a huge Mavs fan. I'm still a Mavs fan, but I've just kind of, since the Luka trade, I'll be honest, I haven't watched basically at all. I'm still kind of getting over that. But Bears, TCU ball, and honestly, everything else is pretty secondary at this point, like distant. I'll put it this way. I would much rather, and this is probably where Cullen and I, like, he would go the other way. I would much rather watch some Netflix show or streaming show with my wife than the Mavs on a Tuesday night. Now, playoffs, different deal, but yeah, I don't mind turning the sports off during the week. We're in it every day, so I need a break every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, teach their own. Maybe it'll change whenever, I meet somebody down the line, but for right now, like, give me the, like, to your point, Tuesday night hoops or whatever the case may be or whatever's on. Like, I'm going to be watching. So
yeah, and I don't blame you. Sometimes Handel's like, hey, let's watch the game. And I'm like, honestly, I'm sportsed out. So you guys would be surprised that I'm sometimes making the call to not watch sports. But I don't know. Football's the best for that reason because, like, you don't have to watch 4 games. Like, it's not every night.
Right.
Oh my God, they just dropped the screen. Okay, how many more we got here?
No, I think we're all caught up.
All right, we got one more segment, and then we'll wrap this stream up. And what'll happen is you will get redirected to our 4Vert stream, which will start between 6:30 and 6:45 as Georgia takes on Ole Miss. So stay tuned. We got one more segment here, and then we'll wrap the stream up and kind of re-explain all of that. But keep the ball rolling here. Let's talk about these rookies, man. Got to give Ryan Poles some credit. Last segment coming up here on Bears Now. Coming up, Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Poles nailed this. I will tell you what this is here in just a second, but support the show. It's a new year. We're looking to do as much content as ever. If you want free and daily videos, hit that subscribe button. We go live 3 times per week, including for our weekly live watch parties. Of course, we'll have full playoff coverage. The Bears are in it for once. We're at 148,000 and change in subscribers. I would love to get to 150,000 subs by the start of the wild card game. Is that doable? We got about a little over a week until the wild card game. 150K by that game. It's a lofty goal. Share it with a friend. We're growing every day. Free and daily Bears content. Let's roll. As week 18 is upon us and the Bears are getting ready for the playoffs, we got to be honest. This rookie class has been pretty freaking awesome, and I think we got to give Ryan Poles a lot of credit for that fact. Let's just revisit the full draft class. 8 draft picks in total. Colston Loveland, 10th overall. Luther Burden, 39th. Steal of the freaking draft. Ozzy Trapilo at 56. Shamar Turner at 62. Ruben Hippolyte at 132. Sometimes you miss. Zay Frazier at 169. We'll see. Luke Newman, when he played and when he needed to in that one game, played pretty well. Good for a backup. And then Kyle Monangai, another steal of the draft, at 233 overall in the 7th round. I think it's pretty clear, and we can make this declaration one season in, one game until a full season in. Ryan Poles and the Bears hit on 4 guys. Colston Loveland is a clear hit. I mean, he just is. He's a 3-down tight end, can block. He's a mismatch. He's fantastic. Luther Burden, he's a demon. He's got wide receiver 1 upside in this league. Ozzy Trapilo, how high is his ceiling? We'll see, but I think at minimum is a solid left tackle. And then Kyle Monangai is just a good player. Whether you want to use the term starter or not, whatever. Clearly, him and DeAndre Swift are a 1-2 punch, and Swift is the lead back, but at times Monangai has been the lead back. So I think it's safe to say just 1 year into their careers, these 4 players are clear hits. And when you get 4 hits in a draft, that's a really, really good draft for your general manager. I also think you have 2 contributors. Now, we'll see on Shamar Turner coming off the torn ACL, but I think they were starting to get production out of him at the edge. Again, I'm not acting like he's going to be the next Chris Jones or something, but I think he can at least contribute. I don't see Zach Pickens here. Now, again, ACL, we'll see. That could certainly derail things. Luke Newman, he came in that one game for Jonah Jackson for like a quarter, played pretty well, has been banged up, just got back. But I think as a backup, the fact that he had surpassed Ryan Bates, 6th round, that's good value. You're looking for a quality backup, and I think he's just that. And then you have 2 unknowns. I would say so far, Ruben Hippolyte's a miss. I mean, he's been a healthy scratch for probably close to double-digit games this year. That's not a great sign. Good athletic profile, but he can't get on the field. And then Zay Frazier, who's been on NFI all year for personal reasons. We'll see if he gets into the mix at corner next year. But even if they're both misses, let's say one of those 2 contributors I mentioned just becomes solid. Okay, 4 hits, 1 contributor out of 8. That's pretty good. That's the draft. It's a bit of a crapshoot. So he's done really, really well in this draft, it would appear. Let's circle back to the first 2 picks. This is a pretty cool stat. The 33rd team put out this graphic. Caleb Williams, 2025 passer rating by target. Luther Burden, 125.5. Remember, 158.3 is perfect, so that's very good. Colston Loveland, 124.1. All others, 80. So the 2 rookies have been the most efficient targets by far for Caleb Williams this season. You compare their numbers further side by side here. The efficiency is just obvious, right? Loveland, 48 catches on 69 targets, over 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 13 yards per catch. Burden, 44 catches on 56 targets, 617 and a couple of touchdowns. And by the way, Luther Burden, unless he just has like a really inefficient week 18, but it would have to be really bad for him to dip below. It is the highest yards per route run for a rookie in NFL history at 2.98. Think about that. Every time he runs a route, he gets 3 yards. You're not getting the ball every time you run a route. That is a unbelievable stat to basically be at 3 yards per route run as a player. Now, as he becomes a full-time player, obviously, that's just going to go down. Part of that is when he's played, he's taken advantage of his opportunities, but still, that is a unique number for Luther Burden. I feel really confident in these two guys moving forward. I think they are stars in the making. I think Loveland is a classic modern tight end who you can move around. He's a mismatch versus linebacker, safeties, defensive backs, and he's a pretty good blocker too. And Luther Burden is already one of the most dynamic players with the ball in his hands in the league. Not just among rookies, in the NFL. He is that good of a player. The 49ers couldn't pretend to guard him the other night. He was the most dominant, unguardable player on the field in that Week 17 game. Who do you guys think ends up being the better player? I think both are going to be awesome. Type CL for Colson Loveland, LB for Luther Burden. It's hard to say. I mean, Loveland, obviously is a run blocker, but Burden blocks his ass off too. It's tough to pick. I think Burden is probably a little more twitchy, obviously, but he's a receiver. Loveland's a tight end. I don't know. I just know I'm glad they're both on this team because I think they're both going to be really good for a long time. Let's get to the next guy here. Ozzy Trapilo. Is he the long-term answer at left tackle? I think he's got a chance to be. We'll dive into him a little bit more. Smaller sample size as he's only made 6 starts at left tackle this season, but do got to tell you guys first about our sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. You pick 2 or more players, up to 6, in a lineup, and take more or less on their stat projections. All sports, tons of stats available for you guys. Little 3-player action for this weekend. I like more on Caleb Williams' passing yards. His arrow's been pointing up the last month and a half or so. He's playing pretty good football. Jared Goff, even in a down year for the Lions, has still put up big numbers. I like the more on his passing yards as well. Plus, the Bears' defense has been struggling a bit. And then Kyle Monungai, I like him to find the end zone. Rushing or receiving doesn't matter. Demon play, I think he scores. $20 lineup to win $80. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, let's circle back to Ozzy Trapilo here. So in 6 starts now, these grades are slightly impacted by, remember they were using him as like a 6th offensive lineman. He played a few snaps at right tackle in that Raiders game, but the bulk of his snaps are at left tackle and in these 6 starts. PFF's grading system, which can be wonky, but I think for offensive line is about as good as you're going to find out there. Pretty good, right? Like 60 is average on PFF, so overall, pretty notably above average at 70. Better pass blocking than run blocking, which I expected, but his run blocking has been trending up. That is good. Only 2 penalties. He's given up 2 sacks. So has it been perfect? No, but he's clearly an upgrade from Braxton Jones. He's a better pass protector than Theo Benedict, who's probably still a slightly better run blocker. But again, Ozzy's been trending up in that spot as well. He looks the part. Now, is he as talented of a player as Darnell Wright? Probably not, but you already have an excellent offensive line from left guard to right tackle. If Ozzy Trapilo is just an above average left tackle, this is a really good offensive line for at least probably the next couple of years, right? Because everybody is under contract through 2027 on this offensive line. And so whether or not he's a 10-year left tackle for you, I think it's way too early to determine that. I think he's pretty clearly your guy next year, and barring something unforeseen. And that gives the Bears a lot of options this offseason. It gives you a lot of flexibility because remember early in the year when they were shuffling Braxton, Theo, you're like, man, you're probably going to need a left tackle. I don't think you need to draft one now. It doesn't mean you don't add someone to that room or something like that, a veteran to be your swing guy if you don't want that to be Theo for whatever reason, or if you just like a guy in the middle rounds of the draft to develop. Like, you can always do that, but it gives you options with those early picks. If you want to hammer defense, if you want to make a big trade for a pass rusher, which clearly is your big need right now. Ozzy kind of just stabilizing that position is huge for that reason in the short term, which is kind of the next year or two. Okay, let's talk about the 7th round revelation. That, of course, is Kyle Monangai. Cullen's first draft crush, becoming a Chicago Bear, and he's been fantastic. And remember, they slow played him too. Early in the year, he wasn't getting a lot of opportunities, but post-bye week, he has really turned it on, and he's been arguably the best 7th round pick out of any player. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt also went in the 7th, so, I mean, you could debate those two. But again, Krosky-Merritt was basically the starter from week 1, whereas Monangai is in a split back room and didn't have a huge role the first month. Really efficient, physical, has been a really good complement to DeAndre Swift. Had a 2 or 3 week stretch in early December where he struggled with a couple of drops, but the last couple of weeks he's made some nice hands catches as well. That's actually been a better part of his game than I expected coming out of Rutgers. We saw that early in the year and in the preseason. And he's 5th among rookies in rushing for a 7th round pick. And again, like you look at Ashton Genty, 888, he's their lead back. They don't have a 2-back system, and he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Now, I get it, that offense stinks, that team stinks, offensive line, all that stuff, but still, Monangai's had a much more efficient year. Travion Henderson, Quinshaw Judkins, 2nd round picks, and then Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Monangai are neck and neck. Both went 7th round, but Krosky-Merritt, again, was the starter from week 1 this year. He was the 22nd running back taken in a draft where 25 running backs went, and he's been this productive. He's 92 total yards away from 1,000 all-purpose. I think that's on the table. Obviously, we're in terms of individual goals, we're all hoping Caleb can reach 4,000 passing. I think it'd be pretty cool if Monangai got 1,000 total. Swift's is over 12 or 1,300 in all-purpose. If you got Monangai over 1,000 all-purpose, what an accomplishment that would be for him and for this team if that could happen as well. To get this guy in the 7th round, that's a hell of a draft pick by Ryan Poles. Grade Ryan Poles 2025 draft, A, B, C, D, or F. Drop a letter grade down in the comment section below. And again, just to recap, I think you have 2 potential stars in Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, at minimum, very high-level starters. A solid left tackle in Ozzy Trapilo. Again, probably not an all-pro in the making, but I think a good player. And a starting-level running back in Kyle Monangai. He could be your starter. Now, ideally, him and someone else, it's a 1-2 system. Right now it's DeAndre Swift. Down the road, maybe it's someone else. I don't view him necessarily as like a Jonathan Taylor or something where he can be the bell cow, but a very good player nonetheless. And we'll see on the other guys. I think there's still a chance for a couple of those guys to at least be contributors. I liked Shamar Turner coming out. He's got position flex. We'll see how he progresses post-ACL. Be nice if he became something because defensive line is an issue for this team, but we got to give Ryan Poles credit. The D-line, that's the one area that they're struggling with their kind of just talent and development right now, but to hit on those 4 players, all right, we could determine that right now. Those 4 players are hits. That's pretty impressive. We got to give credit where it's due. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the episode. My name is Harrison Graham. Happy New Year, and bear down. Is Kalen DeBoer fake? I don't think he's fake. I mean, even in a year where they were trending south, they still won a playoff game. Look, Indiana's just better. They've been better all year. The only reason, and I'm not necessarily pointing the finger at you here, Colin, because I know you picked Alabama. The only reason the majority of people who picked Alabama is because they're like, well, Indiana's not going to lose to Alabama, or Alabama's not going to lose to Indiana. Yeah, they are. They're a worse team. Indiana is better in all areas. They have a better quarterback. They have a much better running game. Their defense, it sounds weird to say, is better than Alabama's, and they're better coached. Signetti's better than DeBoer right now. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I was more or less banking on kind of the second half against Oklahoma where Alabama just
found something.
Yeah, I felt like maybe they found something, like the offense started to click. Even their rushing attack, which had been abysmal really all season.
Yeah,
I thought it maybe kind of clicked there. Granted, Oklahoma, Indiana, different beasts, different animals, and Indiana proved that today.
It was impressive against that OU defense, though. I will say that because like OU's got an elite defense, but I mean, to me, I feel like I just watched the best team in college football. Whether or not they win it all, that remains to be seen. But especially with Ohio State out of it now, like Georgia, Ole Miss, we'll see tonight. But
I'm sure you'll
if Indiana plays like that, I don't know who beats them.
I don't know. Mendoza looked phenomenal.
How crazy would it be if Indiana was the first team to go 16-0 in college football? Indiana. I mean, what Signetti's done, Mendoza, it's a hell of an accomplishment. So 2 more to go. They play the winner of, or do they play Oregon?
They play Oregon.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Because Oregon's really talented.
Yep.
Be curious to see what the early point spread on that is. Alex Todd, what's stopping Dennis Allen from sending C.J. Gardner-Johnson on a delayed third down blitz earlier this year? He did a couple times last week, but I think that first Lambeau game spooked DA a little bit because he got burned several times on blitzes, and they haven't done it as much recently. I do wonder, especially against Jared Goff, who can get kind of skittish, do you just dial that up this week and try to go back to those blitz packages? Because look, if you're trying to bend, not break, but you break, you kind of have to change it up.
A little bit, yeah.
I'll predict it now. They will turn up the blitz rate this week. That's my prediction. I'm with you, Alex. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is better playing downhill than backpedaling. I'll put it that way.
No doubt.
Alex says Luther Burden's a dog. No question.
No question. Elijah is a first plus DJ for Crosby. Realistic, you doing it? Question mark.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
I don't think so.
It's not.
I don't think you have to do 2 1s plus DJ, but I think it's a 1 and a day 2 pick probably.
DJ in a vacuum. What is he worth? Like maybe a third?
Yeah, middle round pick. He's come on strong. 2 really good games. He was sick last week. We'll see how he plays this week and in the playoffs. But I guess they're number 2 if you're counting Bowers. But like he'd be their best receiver tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I think he would have a lot of value on the Raiders, to be honest. So I wouldn't mind the Raiders thinking of, hey, let's dump Crosby, get a good haul, but if we can get DJ Moore back, help our number 1 overall pick quarterback who we're going to draft, like I actually think that makes a lot of sense. Like you're not really worried about wins and losses next year. You're worried about let's get the quarterback right. And unlike the Titans with Cam Ward, who didn't get him much help this year, they thought Calvin Ridley was that answer, trying to surround him with as much as possible. That's the one thing with the Raiders is like you have a very QB-friendly tight end in Brock Bowers. If you could get a player like DJ Moore, who you can manufacture completions to and do some other things with, like they're not going to win a lot, but like you could. It's not the worst situation for a quarterback to come into if they have the right coaching. That's obviously the biggest key.
Big key.
All right, a few more here, then we'll sign off. Crisis King thought about this, but if the Bears make a run in the playoffs, who do you think got a higher chance of getting, Crosby or Garrett? Well, I think they have a higher chance of getting Crosby regardless because the way his contract is structured, it's much easier for the Raiders to trade him than it is for the Browns to trade Garrett. And Crosby's not going to cost as much as Garrett. Right. So I think those 2 factors, regardless of anything else, makes it easier to get Max Crosby. Doesn't mean Myles Garrett is ungettable, but it's going to be tougher to get him. Chris, how many blue chippers do we have? We'll do that exercise again this offseason. I think a lot of guys have probably moved up a tier. I'll say this, Chris. They have a lot of guys that have a chance to be blue chippers. Whether they are or not yet remains to be seen. But last year, you didn't really know when we did that exercise. I think this year when we do it, we'll be talking about a lot more guys that have a chance to enter that blue chip category, which you need blue chippers to win. Need blue chippers. Chris says he bought his playoff tickets as well. Let's go, Chris. Bring home a dub. Hopefully multiple. Wasim, 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 Wasim. Wasim, Wasim. Wasim, 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 Wasim. Wasim, Wasim. Bama isn't built like an SEC team anymore. what do you think of Miami's chances? Which edge rusher should we go after in the draft? FGB. I think Miami's got a shot against anybody because they're so dominant in the trenches. When you're that good up front, you can beat anybody. Now, Carson Beck, even last night, they really just were like, hey, just don't fuck it up.
Pretty much.
Which, hey, I would probably do that too. Lean on Fletcher and lean on the trenches, offensively and defensively. Let the D-line cook, get teams into 3rd and long, and you'll be good. So I think Miami's got a real shot. I mean, they could win it as a double-digit seed. I think they'll play the winner of tonight's game.
Yes.
Whether it's Georgia or Ole Miss, after what I saw against Ohio State, they will have a chance against whoever wins tonight. All right, don't you agree?
I would agree.
And the Carson Beck Bowl would be pretty entertaining if we got it. Georgia wins tonight. Little revenge
factor.
game. So
there we go.
Speaking of which, and we'll get to the last super chat in a minute, come and join us. So what's going to happen here is we're going to sign off shortly. We'll get TJ's super chat on screen. The link is in the chat, so you can click there and go right now. It'll get you to kind of the live chat before we start the stream. But also, once we end the stream, YouTube should redirect you to the 4Verts channel, to that stream. And if you don't know 4Verts, it's my other YouTube channel, NFL college football content. Please support. I would greatly appreciate it. Colin and I, you get the Bears Now combo for Georgia Ole Miss tonight. You've been enjoying the last couple hours. How about 3 or 4 more? Because we will be live for the Sugar Bowl. It's 6:23 right now. We'll be live between, let's call it 6:35 and 6:40, somewhere in that range. We're going to end this stream. I'm going to eat some food real quick. Colin will get a couple graphics ready, and then we'll go live on 4Verts. So links in the chat. Come over and join us. We'll be live, and we'll have a little T-shirt raffle too. So if you want to get in on that action, we can make it happen. All right, TJ, and then we're going to sign off. What NFL teams could have a Bears fan-like turnaround? Check something real quick.
It's hard to answer that question because a lot of what happened with the Bears in terms of getting that turnaround was the fact that they got Ben Johnson. They had, top to big. They had like all this cap space and stuff.
The cupboard was also more full than a team that lost 10 games in a row.
Yes.
You would think of, right?
Yeah.
Like, not to pick on like the Raiders, for example, or like the Raiders who have lost probably more than 10 in a row at this point. I don't think they have as much talent as the Bears. Like, I just think the coaching was so unbelievably bad that you just didn't even realize how much talent the Bears had. Now, don't get me wrong. They were horrible in the trenches on both sides. And the O-line went from one of the worst in the league to one of the best overnight. Is there a team out there that can do that? Like, that's pretty difficult. Like, is there a Joe Tooney-like trade available? I mean, to hit on both those trades, Drew Dahlman and Ozzy Trapilo, just to be solid, like, it's pretty remarkable to flip a script in the trenches like that overnight.
Yeah.
It is not easy to accomplish. So, yeah, I don't know who I view like that. I mean, you could look at – I'll give you one. I think if you got the right coach and added some better defense to the Bengals, and if Burrow's healthy, they could win 12 games next year.
For sure.
But that's almost like cheating.
Yeah,
like they have an elite quarterback.
Right.
That's a little different. So it's a good question. I'll have to think about it. But all right, guys, we're going to sign off. We will be live on 4Verts, 10, 15 minutes. This should redirect you to that stream. So if you guys want to chop it up over there, we will see you over there here in a few minutes. Bear down. Come join us for Georgia Ole Miss. Peace.